Yo, this is your girl Addie 3000, and this is the Ambition Hour podcast, episode 26. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Last week's episode 25, got so much love. But before we get into the amazing, gratitude thing that we love to do here on the Ambition Hour podcast, I want to invite anybody who is new to the Ambition Hour podcast and to the WTW TV channel or WTW radio to please subscribe. This is your invitation to subscribe and join the WTW family. And join us each and every single Saturday for WTW Saturdays, where we have a new song, a new video, and a new podcast. So you want to make sure that you're subscribed. That way, when all of those things come up, you get the notifications and you know before your friends do. Like, you don't want to be the first one to know out of your friends when WTW drops something new. Of course you do. So you always want to make sure that you're subscribed, and that way you get that notification and then like, oh snap, there's a new video out. Thank you to all of the new subscribers that have joined us this past week. Thank you so much. I think we jumped almost like 20 numbers or something like that. I'm not sure what the numbers. I just know that we got a lot of love this past week. On YouTube and on SoundCloud and Apple, and I'm just so grateful. It's episode 26, guys, so let's get into it. I wanted to start off with this super motivational video that I saw by Jay-Z. You guys know I'm a really big Jay-Z fan, and I don't try to hide the fact that I am, because it is who it is. Like, it's Jay-Z for me. He's like, he's always gonna be that artist for me. So let's start it off.
Only two things could get you through this, man. That's patience and persistence. We all aspire, we all have the same emotions. No matter who you are, where you're from, we all have the same emotions. We all want to be successful. We all have the same fears of failure. We all have, this feelings of abandonment. We all, want love. Have such a strong belief in yourself that you can quiet out all the outside noise, because you're gonna need that on every step of the way. There are people that are projecting their fears and their shortcomings and failures on you, and you have to be very careful, with that. People telling you can't do that. Why can't I? Because they may have tried, or they don't believe that they can do it. And it's not really about you, it's about what they feel and their fear inside. So you have to be strong enough and resilient to believe in whatever it is you're trying to do. My uncle, he was telling me my uncle said I never sold 1 million records. I sold 1 million records like 1 million times. Are you crazy? How are you gonna do that? How? I'm sure there's things that I do now that he can't believe that I was able to accomplish. He couldn't even see it at the time. So he was just projecting, putting his fears on me.
That's how we on it. Lock my body, can't trap my mind. Easily explain why we adapt to crime. I'd rather die enormous than live dormant. That's how we on it. And you gotta understand the reason, right? Why does that guy think like that? Right? How do you arrive at that point? You got to also look at that. You have to look at that. You got to look at the environments and places we live in, and how things are set up, and how things are structured, and how we're always the last on the totem pole, even from our schooling to our roads to, everything that all the obstacles that's placed in front of us. Even our living conditions. You live in a project. Someone lives here, 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 and here. You have to deal with all these different type of personalities. You're in the box. Someone's above you, below you, to the right of you, and to the left of you. And every day you have to manage that circle. So that's like living dormant. Life is about balance, right? You have to have some type of balance. You have time for work and it's time for play. And if you don't allow these two things to coexist, you have an imbalance. People look at you strange saying you changed, like you worked that hard to stay the same, like you're doing all this for a reason. And what happens most of the time, people change. People change around you because they start treating you different because of
your success. So you are changing. You don't change who you are, the core of who you are, the things you believe, the things you love, and the things you die for, and your principles. You don't change that, but you're gonna change who you are. You're gonna change. You know, you can't do the same things that you can't hang on the corner. True to yourself. You know, it sounds like a very simple thing to do, but it's not. It's not simple to do with all the pressures to succeed and all the pressures to, once you succeed, to stay there. You have a belief in yourself, and sometimes, in most cases, it's almost a naivete about who you are and what you can contribute to the game. Belief in oneself and knowing who you are, I mean, that's the foundation of everything great.
Life is for your greatest good. No matter how difficult it seems at the time, everything is for your greatest good. It's just clearing you out so you can receive your blessings, even in tough times. Even a tough time is used for us to grow, for us to go through things. So when the good times come, we really appreciate it. But you gotta just believe everything is for your greatest good. And anything you want in life, you just gotta set your intention. When you set your, we're that powerful, we're all, every single person here, we're that powerful as human beings. If you set your intentions and you believe that shit with your whole soul, 100%, it's gonna happen for you, I promise you. And I'm not saying that because I read it in some book, I'm saying that because I'm standing on the stage tonight. I'm from the bottom, I'm from the mud, I'm from Marcy Projects, I'm from Bedford-Stuyvesant, Brooklyn, New York City. And I'm on this stage here tonight doing what I love to do in front of all these beautiful people. And that's because I set my intention. On my first album, I was saying, who's the best MC? Biggie, Jay-Z, and I was telling you I was coming. It's the adventure trip to platinum, nigga, with the solid gold fade, that nigga with the... I said that.
Well, I definitely had to share that with you guys because I heard it this past week, and it came around a good time in the week that I actually needed to hear it, because the week had started off a little crazy. You know, the week was just Monday, like off the bat, like it started off a little crazy. You know, the world it's not easy, and people are not always going to be nice to you, and they're not always going to agree with you. And there's, you know, there's going to be people that just have negative things to say about whatever it is that you're doing, or feel that they have a say in what it is that you do in your life because, you know, of X, Y, and Z, whatever reasons they may have. And so I heard this, and it just, like, it opened up my mind. Like, I'm not a rapper, but it opened up my mind to it's just where it was to the point where I felt motivated to just become the best version of myself. And like, one of the things that he said was like, I was telling you I was coming. And it's like that whole mentality of, like, I know I'm going to get this, and this is exactly what I want to do. And this is, like, I'm telling you right now that I'm going to be this legend. Like, I've been telling you that I'm going to be this legend. And I felt like that's something that I really, I like coincided with, and when it came down to my life, because it's like I keep telling people, like, listen, like, I don't care, like, I'm gonna do what it is that I want to do. I'm gonna pursue my dreams. I'm gonna be ambitious. I'm not gonna let anybody stop me for what it is, you know, that they may feel that isn't correct for me to be doing, or have their own set opinions on me. You know, it's just a variety of things. And I felt like this video and some other videos that I've watched this past week have helped me with, you know, just different things and aspects of my life. This is the Ambition Hour, so this is something that I don't want to like shy away from. Like, this is a good motivational video that, you know what I mean? Like, if you're an artist, if you have a corporate job, if you work a 9 to 5, if you're, you know, out, like, whatever it is that your occupation is, that you can relate to this video and take it into for what it is for your life. So you guys know I love to teach you something, so teach you something and motivate you. And I just want to say thank you for always watching and for tuning in. So yesterday we were at at Sneaker Town, and they were playing Song Cry, right? Well, they played O3 Bonnie and Clyde as soon as I walked through the door, and I was like, damn, this is gonna be a dope experience at this store. I love when stores play my songs. So Song Cry comes on, we end up in the car, I pull up the lyrics. I pull up the lyrics and I'm reading through the lyrics, and mind you, it's just like a cappella. Like, the song isn't in the background. It's nothing like, oh man, like let me just pull up, like, you know, it was just like, let me just pull up these lyrics and then just start rapping them, right? All right, cool. I'm a little too excited because this is something that, like, I felt like I discovered. And okay, so Song Cry has been claimed that it is about Beyonce, but after further investigation and, like, after reading the lyrics of the songs, to me, it made it seem like Jay-Z wrote his relationship with Beyonce into existence. And I'm very big on writing things into existence, and I feel like that's what he did. Because there's certain lines that he talks about, that he says, we used to use umbrellas to face the bad weather, so now we travel first class to change the forecast. Jay-Z and Beyonce got private jets now. You know, that's a little different. That's a little different than, you know, what you would, you know, what he wrote. But I feel like that they did go, like, they weren't always flying in private jets. Like, that came, you know, a little bit later down the line. But yeah, so I feel like this song, it was just like Jay-Z writing, like, his perfect relationship, or like his future relationship, into existence and put it in a song. And then my whole thing is that I read an article that it said how Jay-Z has shown us the evolution of how he speaks about relationships. And so Song Cry was one of those songs that he did that. And I quote, this is Jay-Z, I mean, a song on my first album was Ain't No Like the One I Got. It was like this careless relationship, and then that went to Big Pimpin' in 99. Big Pimpin' always reminds me of my 5th grade reading teacher at our 5th grade dance, rapping to each and every single lyric to Big Pimpin', like, and it was in 1999, so it was like in 2000, so I just showed my age. So good though. We still look good. Okay, so, and then so he says, and on that same album was a song called Song Cry, and then Song Cry became Bonnie and Clyde on 2004, which became Venus versus Mars on my last album. So there's a steady growth in the conversations that's being had as it pertains to women, you know, as I grew. So the lyrics talk about changing the weather. So we talked about that. Being in love. He talks about being in love, and then he talks about how when he says, I was just fucking them girls, I was gonna get right back. You know, that line also reminds me of another time in my life. But it's crazy how music can just bring you back to a time in your life, in the artist's time, because now the question rose, like, but wait, were Jay-Z and Beyonce together at that time? Like, was this relationship already established? Like, she was 8, and then we had to do the math, and it was like she was 18 when this song came out. So she, like, they were dating, but she wasn't of age. So I didn't know this much about, like, Jay-Z and Beyonce. I just, like, I found it out, like, after, like, being like, oh my God, Jay-Z, like, wrote the song about Beyonce, but it, like, like I said, he wrote it into existence. And I just thought that it was pretty cool, and I had to share it because hip hop and just writing in general has a very big like effect on how your life can be. You know, the way that you speak to yourself, the way that, you know, you talk about yourself, the way that you write about yourself, and just things like that. Like, you are the creator of your own future. So that to me was very admirable, except maybe the cheating part, but like that he had like a vision in his head of like how his relationship was going to be, and like the whole like coming up, like being broke, and then like being ugly, and it's just like a whole combination of different things. And it's like man, it's so true what they say, that like the pen is such a strong like weapon, and that if you use it correctly, like, you know, it could it can take you many, many places. So I found that pretty cool, and I had to share it with you guys on the Ambition Hour podcast because, you know, like, I feel like when I learn something, I gotta tell you guys so we can all learn it together. And then now I hope you go and like listen to this song and you like look at the lyrics. I didn't share all of the lyrics. I was straight up rapping it. I got Hob in the building. Wait, what is it? Tell me.
I gotta live with the fact that they.
Oh, yeah. And then he ends it with one of the songs that he says, "Dang, oh man." Okay, but he said it. He said, "Damn, I gotta live with the fact that I did you wrong forever." I'm gonna just go into I should go to the third verse because that's like the best one. He says, "A face of stone was shocked on the other end of the phone. Word back home is that you had a special friend. So what was oh so special then? You have given away without getting at me. That's your fault. How many times you forgiven me? How was I to know that you was plain sick of me? I know the way up was living was whack, but you don't get up back like that. Shit, I'm a man with pride. You don't do shit like that. You don't just pick up and leave me sick like that. You don't throw away what we had just like that. I was just fucking them girls. I was gonna get right back. They say you can't turn a bad girl good, but once she's gone, good girl gone." They say you can't turn a bad girl good, but once a good girl's gone, bad, she's gone forever. I'm on forever. Shit, I gotta live with the fact I did you wrong forever. And I, like, man, like that. I remember watching that video growing up, and that's one of the things that every single time that I sing the song in my head or rap it, like, that video always comes to mind, like, when he's like in his whip and he's picking her up, and then it goes from like a little hoopty to like a nice little car, and he's like, you know, and then she's in the mansion and she's like balling like with her makeup, but she's hella like it. Man, can y'all blame me for like wanting to open up the show with like a motivational like excerpt from him that was bomb as hell? Like, come on. So yeah, so then that made me want to listen to the song and made me want to listen to the lyrics. And then this morning I started blasting ape shit, and that just like put me in this whole good mood. So I'm really excited that we're here. It's episode 26. I can't like stress it enough that we have made it. We are over episode 25. I remember when we first started, like, I always love to talk about this because, especially for the new people, guys, I am Audi 3000. This is WTW TV, WTW Radio. You're part of the WTW family. Like I said earlier, I invite you to subscribe. It costs $0 to subscribe. You know what I mean? And then, you know, tell your mom, tell your cousin. Everybody can listen to the Ambition Hour, and everybody can watch our videos and listen to our music. So make sure that you subscribe. But yeah, so like I just wanted to like start it off with something that, you know, would just like, you know, kind of like haha. And so the Ambition Hour is something that, you know, I've always wanted to do, and I'm really excited to be doing it. And so thank you for all the new people that are here. So we have been loving Teyana Taylor for like the past couple of weeks. Love her. Her album is amazing. I talked about it when it first came, the day that I had come out. I've been talking about it since I found out that it was gonna come out, because I was just so excited. So Teyana Taylor's been doing like a little press run. She's been doing interviews. She's gone to the Breakfast Club, Ebro. She went to Angie Martinez, which that one was my favorite. That's just my opinion. And then I felt like everybody always asked her about the three-way question. And last week, I wanted to make that the question for the Ambition Hour, but I couldn't really find myself to really talk about a threesome like that. Because, you know, when it comes down to the question of the week, I really do love a question that I can elaborate on in the show. And I just felt like that question is just not for the show, and I'm going to be real with you guys and let you know why. You know, if you watched last week's episode and you knew that question kind of caught my attention. But yeah, so it was just like people were just trying to like find out like, oh, so how does this whole threesome thing go, and how do you deal with that? And then some people had like different opinions about it, of like the whole like, oh, I don't know how I feel about her because, you know, she shares her man and like all of this stuff. Little side note, Iman loves the shit out of Tiana Taylor. Like she was because one of the things that I keep hearing also besides the threesome is that she's not 100%, I guess, satisfied with her album because of the length, which is understandable because her album is 8 tracks, bomb, 8 tracks, like from beginning to end. And so she just feels like some type of way because there were certain things we know that she caught demoitis, and that's been kind of like affecting the way that she feels about the album. The album is out and the album is great. So we can't really, get to, like that's something that she's just been talking about too, which I understand, like I said, because, when you haven't put out a project for 4 years, you want the project that you put out to be amazing, to be the one that you envision, to be, the one that you have been, like brewing up for 4 years. Yeah, like it's just like it's worth the wait. Like I want you to make listen, like this is an awesome project. I want you to listen to it. Blah blah blah. I felt like her album was amazing, and then for her to be able to be going on to these shows and then feeling the way that she was feeling about her album, and then also trying to cover up that she doesn't hate it, but she just wishes it was longer, and that there was some certain tracks that were cut out that shouldn't have gotten cut out, and etc. etc. I get it. So then now it brings up the point of like, is she doing this because ever since I've been hearing her like complain about her album, it just makes me want to listen to it more. So I feel like, am I getting got? Like, is this like a little technique to like make me listen to the album more? Because if it is, which I don't think it is, because she's just a very passionate person who at any given moment is ready to drop, what I mean, and like just go crazy on somebody for whatever it is that she feels passionate about. So I just wish she would appreciate, like, show a lot more love to the album, because the album is a great album, and I wish that people wouldn't just be so like quick to pick on how she reacted. And I also think that that's part of the reason why people love her so much, because she's so transparent about how she feels, and it's just like it's never like hidden. But I also think that it's just a little much, girl. Love you. But the album is bomb, you know what I mean? Like, thank God it's out. Put out another album. Like, if you want, girl, like, listen, there's still like how many more months left in the year? You can probably drop 2 albums in 1 year. Like, if you got the content, which I'm sure you do. Which brings me to another female artist that I love. So an amazing artist that I love and grew up listening to is Selena. Anything for Selena's. Growing up Latina. I'm like coming up. Growing up Latina. I remember seeing, hearing Spanish music all the time in my house. My dad is a DJ. So he would always be playing music, and I remember Selena being one of the artists that he would always play. Like, my dad would play music like during the day. That's possibly main reason why I'm listening to music all the time. But yeah, so he basically would always play Selena, and I remember just being like, man, her voice is beautiful, and memorizing all of the lyrics. And every time that we would have a party and he would play this certain mix, because there was a mix that came out when the soundtrack for her movie dropped that he had to have it. And I remember just hearing this mix. And so this past week, I don't know, out of nowhere, like, I just decided to like get my Selena bag. I was heavy in my Selena bag, you guys. I was listening to it in the car. I was listening to it at work. I was like singing it. I could not stop singing Selena. So I had to like make her my WTW my WCW on Instagram, because bro, I remember like seeing her performing her music videos when she would do collaboration with Los Barrio Boys. Like, they were like Selena and Los Barrio Boys, they made a song called Donde Quiera que Estés. Guys, my Spanish isn't the best. I'm so sorry, but it's Donde Quiera que Estés. And it's such a like soulful R&B song, and it's because she loved that type of music too. She loved like R&B, like Whitney Houston and like those artists that, you know, coming up in the 90s that did R&B. She loved those artists, and then to combine it with like Los Barrio Boys, I love that song. That song just takes me back to the 90s, like love 90s, at least for like Latinas. And so I just remember like seeing her performing and all of this stuff, and then I remember one time like just finding out that she passed away, and then the movie coming out, and then going to go see the movie, and then my dad getting the soundtrack, and then just like it was just such a big time in like Latino music, and it was such a hard time in, you know, the Latin community and just in music in general, because she was loved by a lot of people in the music industry. She was, you know, respected, and you know, she's a Grammy winning Latina artist who did, you know, cumbia, like, you know, Mexican music. Like, I just can go on and on about how like so proud I am to be Latina, and it's because of some of the women that have basically like paved the way for a Latina woman like myself to be able to have a platform, you know, in America, no matter what country we're from. You know, I am both of my parents are from Nicaragua. I was born in America, but both of my parents are from Nicaragua, so I am, you know, a Latina born in America. But I remember, and then so was she. So I remember like seeing in the movie how she didn't really know Spanish, and just being like, man, Selena doesn't even know Spanish, and she's such a big star, like, and I know Spanish. And it just took me back to a time in my life that where I felt like everything was just so easy and so like easygoing. And like I remember wanting to be her, and it was just an awesome time in music, like I said. And I feel like you know, she was gone way too soon. And I just remember watching, like I said, like I just remember watching her videos and just admiring her. And it sucks that we don't really have a woman doing like Latin music that has like that type of impact that she has had on the music industry, that I can post up a picture about her and everybody knows who it is, and it gets over 100 likes on my Instagram. You know what I mean? And it's because she was that respected in the music industry by everybody. And like, who didn't know Selena? If you saw the movie with Jennifer Lopez, you know what I'm talking about. And speaking of, you know, music in the 90s and artists in the 90s, King Combs, which is Diddy's son. We love Diddy. Hey, Diddy. I always wanted to work for Diddy when I was younger. I still do. And it's funny because there's just like, oh, but you're like, you know, you're a manager at WTW Records. And I'm like, yeah, but it's Diddy. Like, I want to work for Diddy. So King Combs and Chris Brown came out with the video. You guys are going to hate me because I do not remember the name of the song. I'm going to look for it up for you guys now. But the video came out, and it's not exactly, but it's I guess paying homage to the Biggie song, One More Chance. One more chance. Hey, Biggie, give me one more chance. That one. And I don't know if you guys remember the video. It's like people are like all up in the camera, and it's black and white. Biggie's sitting like on a throne, and he's just like rapping back and forth in a black room. They're like at a club, and then even down to where like you got like somebody come. I can't remember in the video right now because I haven't watched it, but somebody, like, I haven't watched it recently. I've watched the video for One More Chance. He's like screaming at the people outside in Brooklyn or whatever. You're like on the stoop. And then so in this video, Khaled is the one doing that. And so there's like, it's like everybody now doing it. Like I guess King Combs' friends, Chris Brown is in the song, so he's in the video. I liked it until I realized what it was. I'm like, wait a minute, this is the One More Chance video. Like, what? And then so I expressed that with Hav, which if you guys don't know Hav 600, that's my little brother. It was funny because he was on the phone with somebody, and then we're like, "Oh yeah, you know your friend, Adi 3000." It's like, yo, that's my sister, but but yeah, Hav 600 is my little brother. Him and I were having a conversation, and I ended up mentioning that to him because he is somebody that we love. We have always talked about hip hop as long as I can remember. And if you guys haven't checked out episode 14 of the Ambition Hour podcast, please make sure to check it out because that episode is featuring Hav. Who is an artist on WTW Records, who dropped a video for Colin today. Tell them bitches I ain't calling. Tell them bitches I ain't calling. That's my shit right there. I'm really happy for that video. So that video's out today. He mentioned it to me that King Combs has always been an admirer and loves the 90s and kind of has brought that 90s feel back to Diddy and even like Bad Boy, because I remember before, like, you would hear about Bad Boy like 20-year reunion, but I feel like now that King Combs is out, which is Diddy's son, there's a lot more about Bad Boy out. The hype is a lot more, it's there because they've been out for 20 years, you know what I mean? And then no matter what company it is, a company is always going to be getting, they're always going to be getting that recognition, which I feel that I love that. I love that because WTW Records, I'm saying it right now on the Ambition Hour podcast. Catch us in 20 years, man. Watch. I remember doing like episode, like, I don't remember which episode, but I'm just like, oh, watch, we're going to be doing this many episodes. Like, I remember just like, not stunning or anything like that, but just being real with y'all. Like, listen, I'm here for the long haul. Like, y'all going to have to get used to this. The same thing goes with WTW Records. Like, we coming. Like how Jigga said, I was telling you I was coming. I'm coming, you guys. So yeah, that video is pretty cool. And also the actual song is a sample from the Touch Me Tease Me by Foxy Brown and Case song, which is dope as fuck. It's the one that goes, touch me, tease me, don't let go. Baby, I'm about to explode. Okay, so see, y'all got me singing on the show and shit. I'm just way too hyped. I told y'all that one day I was gonna bust out with it, and I was humming that. I was harmonizing it because I don't really know the full all the lyrics like that. That's why I'm not a rapper or a singer, you guys, because I forget lyrics like that. But yeah, so they sample that song, and I like that, and I don't. Because I love the original song, and I always feel like original songs, you just leave them how they are. But they didn't butcher the song, and they didn't mess it up. And, King Combs' voice sounds really good on the song. And, of course, Chris Brown's voice sounds awesome. We're going to be talking about Chris Brown today. Hey, we haven't talked about him in a minute. We're going to be talking about him later on in the show because we still got some other things we got to cover. Yeah, because we have... Okay. Because we have some, like, guys, I got my notes. Your girl got notes now. See, we get a little more organized on the Ambition Hour podcast because the girl be forgetting some certain things. So, can't let that happen because there's things that I'm like, and then I watch the episode or I'm editing it. I'm like, damn, I forgot to talk about this. And then I feel like I cheated you guys. And then it's not the same when I talk about it the next week. So, your girl got notes. So, the next thing that I have on the list, because we did have the King Combs video. Like I said, his whole admiration for the 90s. I appreciate that. Thank you. He didn't fuck up the video. I got to see the full length. When I first talked about it with my brother, I hadn't seen the video. Now that I saw the full length of it, it's a pretty dope video. If anybody's going to do it, why not somebody in Bad Boy, right? So I watched, I think it was like a snippet or it was something for Gucci Mane's new video. I don't know what's the name of the song. But... should Gucci Mane's music evolve with who he is as a man? Because the music video that I saw was women in bikinis on a boat. I automatically thought of like his other videos that are just the same way. So that was like my first question. It's just like, you're a married man now. You don't think that maybe it's time to start talking about things that maybe pertain to marriage? I'm not saying like talking about, you and your woman's problems, but maybe just kind of like change up the dynamic and it is that you have in your music videos. You know, and if your songs call for a music video like that, then maybe there's certain things that you may have to change in your lyrics. Then again, that's none of my business, because I ain't married to Gucci Mane. I'm not his manager. I'm pretty sure that a lot of people are listening to his music, so I really don't have anything negative to say. But that is something that came to my mind, like, should his music evolve with the man that he is becoming? Because Gucci Mane isn't the same man, you know, that we saw in 2007, you know, to 2012, you know, and then unfortunately we lost him to the jail system. So, like, you know, the question still stands, like, should he, you know, evolve as a man? Like, should his music evolve like the man that he's becoming? I feel that, yes, you shouldn't be talking or having women like that on your music video. But nothing negative to say, because Gucci Mane is Gucci Mane. I love him. I love his music. He can do no wrong. He's the artist that he is. But, you know, that's just, I just felt like that was something that should be pointed out. And, you know, if you feel some type of way about that too, or you feel that, you know, artists should evolve with their music, like, and not just, like, in real life. Because, like, you guys also have to remember, songs, they're real, but doesn't necessarily mean it's real life. They're just also telling a story. So, you know, the story that's on the song and the story that's on real life, like, should it be intertwined at one point, you know, after you, like, you know, enter into a committed relationship. So yeah, go ahead and comment and let me know how you feel about that. I unfollowed the Shade Room, I think, like, last week. Best decision I've ever made. They pop up on my timeline a couple, you know, time from time, but I'm over them. I was over the negative comments. I felt that ever since I unfollowed them, like, it was harder for me to find certain things on Instagram, like negativity. And then it also forced me to really, like, dig up something for the episode, because not that I would get everything from the Shade Room, but I remember I would learn about it from the Shade Room and then, like, go on to, you know, and do the rest of my research on my own. But I was able to find, like, the Jay-Z thing was literally last night that it happened, that I just was just like, holy shit, I gotta talk about this on the Ambition Hour podcast. Like, this is crazy. I need all the fans to know about this. Like, that's exactly how it went down. So that was just something that I wanted to share with you guys. If you have been contemplating on unfollowing the Shade Room, just go ahead and do it. They're a little cray-cray. The comments are what gets me. That's the only thing, the comments. And it's because, you know, I'm going to share this story with you guys. So one time, the Shiggy Challenge was out, and there was a video of inmates doing the Shiggy Challenge in jail. I thought it was so lit, but it was so funny because one of the dudes in the jail, and, like, in the video, mind you, these dudes are in jail. The dude in the video, he was fine as hell. Like, he was fine as hell. Like, I saw that video and I was just like, but hold up. No wonder I can't find my future husband. He's in jail. Like, that's how I felt. So it was funny because I'm reading the comments in the Shade Room, like, under that, because of course they're the ones who posted it. I later on found out that one of the dudes that was in jail was in the video is YG. Of course, YG is bae. YG knows him. So YG posted it on his page, but the Shade Room was where I saw it first, and people were commenting. I ended up commenting on somebody's comment because I found the dude's Instagram. So I just, like, was just like, yo, this is, you know, so and so's Instagram. And then it turned out that I called this person I said girl or something like that. Like, girl, I found his Instagram, you know? And so somebody commented and said, oh, that's a man. And I'm like, what? Like, I didn't even see that. I just saw the lace front wig, you know, in the icon. And so I get a backlash from the girl, like, saying something like, oh, it was $500 and it was a lace. I don't remember word for word what it was. But I didn't really respond to that. I just liked it because I didn't really mean no harm. I wasn't trying to be offensive. I wasn't trying to start nothing. Like, I was just telling you this person's Instagram, and then somebody else said that you were a man, and I just said that I saw your wig. I don't know what type of wig it is. I don't know how much it costs. Like, hello. And then so somebody else commented and, like, defending and, like, calling me old and, like, all this stuff, and I was just like, what the fuck did I get myself into? Like, it's not even worth it. This isn't even worth this. Like, calm down. So yeah, that's why I unfollowed the Shade Room, because I don't have time for that. So this week we did have a question of the week. Question of the week. Ta-da! And my question of the week this week was, I wanted to ask people in a committed relationship what advice they would give to singles, that want to get into a committed relationship. I'm not going to lie to you guys on the Ambition Hour podcast, because I never do. This question was for me. I wanted to know the answer to this question. Not because I'm looking for a relationship or nothing like that. I just wanted to like see what's like, I guess, like their secret. You know what I mean? Like, I've been in a committed relationship before, and it was so effortless. Like, it was also organic, because the person that I dated for 4 years, he was like my best friend. And I didn't really have to try to like pretend to be somebody or be somebody that I wasn't, or anything like that. And at that time, I wasn't ready to be in a relationship. But when you're young and, you genuinely love somebody, then you end up like making sacrifices, and you end up, learning. You learn when you enter a committed relationship. So for the past couple of, I would say, weeks, I've been feeling like I'm ready for a committed relationship. And I've been feeling like that for a while. Like that's what I want. And I think it's because that's specifically what I want. I want a committed relationship. I don't want this like chilling and all that other nasty shit. No, like, I want a committed relationship to where it's just like, you're my boyfriend, I'm your girlfriend. We share the same values. We are loyal to each other. It gets to the point where, we meet each other's families and so on and so forth. And so the majority of the answers came from women that I admire. Two of them being one from a really good friend of mine, and one from my older cousins who she's married, with kids. And she did it the way that it is, like, marriage, kids, and, like, I admire that, mainly because I saw my mom do that. So I admire it when other women do it, because I see that it's not easy. So being in a committed relationship, the advice that they were giving was, just be yourself, love yourself. You have to be true to who you are, because if you can't be true to who you are, it's going to be hard for the other person to reciprocate that energy towards you. And so I'm like, man, okay, it's awesome advice, because I feel that about myself at this moment right now, that I genuinely, truly love myself, and I love the woman that I'm becoming. And so I'm not saying like that automatically qualifies me and, to be ready for a committed relationship, but it at least lets me know that I'm on the right path, that, ever since Michael B. Jordan cheated on me, I just feel like I need a better relationship. I need commitment, guys. You know what I mean? And I'm not talk about that a lot. Like, I don't talk about like the type of man I want. Like, I'm surprised that people haven't like asked me that. I guess it's because they just kind of know, like, tall, dark, and handsome. I guess they just know. But I mean, that's not the only thing that I really look for. Like, I want a dude that's honest as fuck with me. I found out my personality type, and it's changed a couple of times, but this one has been the most consistent, which is INFP, if I'm not mistaken. If you haven't taken the 16 personalities test, you should. You can find out your personality, you can find out your weaks and strengths in work, in a relationship, in your own self. But yeah, so I admire honesty. I admire loyalty. I love a man who loves his family. And I do believe the way you treat your mama is the way you treat your lady. So if you treat your mama like shit, you're gonna be treating me like shit too. So I don't need that in my life. And I don't really ask for like millions. I just ask that you join me in the journey to get my millions. You know what I mean? Because that's my goal. And like to be like, yeah, I can sit here and say like, oh, he doesn't have to have money, but I mean, your girl got money, so we gonna need you to at least have a good job. Okay. But yeah, so that's the main reason why I wanted to ask the question, was because you know, like I'm open to it. I'm saying it here on the Ambition Hour podcast, guys. I'm not saying that I'm gonna go out there and like start answering DMs. No, it don't work that way. That's another thing that it makes it so hard, is that in the social media world, it's like, it makes dating hard, because it's like, I don't know you. I'm gonna go somewhere with you and I don't even know you. Like, and then it's just like, but I don't go anywhere, so where am I gonna meet somebody? It's exhausting. It, like, I don't know, like, I've also been single for such a long time that it's just like, damn girl, when are you going to get into a relationship? And then it's like, you know, when God decides for that. So thank you to everybody who answered. I also had some people who said, don't do it, reconsider. Play your part. These girls are smart. That's the first thing that I did. I noticed that I talk a lot in song lyrics. It's the funniest thing ever. I was at work and a customer said a word, and from that, it was like a sentence, like a phrase that he said, and from that phrase that he said, I automatically went into like singing a song. It was the funniest thing ever. My supervisor was just like, you just have every song in your head. I'm just like, it's just because I just know all of these. I just know all of these lyrics and I can't let them go. And so yes, like I said, thank you so much to everybody who voted. That was awesome. I appreciate that. Like I said, not voted, I mean answered the question. I would like to have some suggestions on what question to ask next week, because I want to know what type of questions you guys want to know. Like, what would you like for me to talk on the Ambition Hour? Like, what would, like, not spark your attention because you're already here, but what, like, I give me something good to talk about. So, you know, send me some suggestions for some questions that I can ask my Instagram followers, so that I can get a good question of the week for next week, because this one honestly was a selfish one. It was just for me. I just wanted to like ask without asking. And you know, I could do that. I saw this video. I said we were going to talk about Chris Brown, so it's that time. We're talking about Chris Brown. I saw this video, Chris Brown performing, and he has this little kid with him on stage, and I thought that was so cute. So I'm watching the video, very excited, and I'm like, oh my god, this is so beautiful. He has a kid up here. This is like awesome. Chris Brown for the kids. This little kid faints. Like, Chris Brown gives him a handshake, and this little kid like fucking faints on stage. Chris Brown automatically just like goes into dad mode, picks him up, and kind of like just takes him to his father. At first I was just like, yo, he just handed that kid over, and it's just like, well, I mean, my dog's gotta do a show. But the way that he just picked him up and kind of like took him to his father, I thought that was really cool. You know, like, his instinct was automatically like, okay, no, like, imagine if he would have fell. Like, that would have been horrible if he would have just fallen. Imagine the backlash he would have gotten if that little kid would have fell at his show. Like, bro, people would have gone crazy. But then now it brings up the question about, because people are always comparing Michael Jackson and, you know, Chris Brown. Well, Chris Brown, they compare Chris Brown to Michael Jackson. They don't compare Michael Jackson to Chris Brown. But so then now it brings up that question, like, oh, people are like saying that, oh, well, you know, people are fainting at his shows, and that's some Michael Jackson shit. Honestly, when I saw that little kid faint at the show, that's the first thing that I thought about, was like, oh shoot, like, yo, Michael Jackson used to have motherfuckers out here, bruh, passing out. I remember watching the videos and like just seeing like mobs of people just like passing out because he was such a great artist. Like, and till this day he is such a great artist. The boys and I had a conversation yesterday, I would say for like 30 minutes, about Michael Jackson and playing his songs, and then each one of us arguing which one was the best song. And honestly, Chris Brown can't compare to Michael Jackson, because Michael Jackson nobody can compare to him, just like nobody can compare to Chris Brown. I hate that whole like comparison thing. But, you know, I don't think that we should ever discredit any artist based off of something that they haven't done, because people were claiming that Chris Brown was not like Michael Jackson because people weren't fainting at his shows, and then now, you know, somebody faints at his show, so it's just like, oh, now you can put him in the same category. Doesn't work that way. At least I don't think so. But and so then I always hate that comparison. I always hate when people do that. Like, bruh, just let the people do their music. Like, if you're an artist out there and you watch or listen to this show, I just want you to know that no one is you. No one can write like you. No one can perform like you. And no one will ever perform or write like you. So fuck what everybody says and do what it is that you got to do, and, you know, push forth, and don't try to compare yourself with anybody. Comparison is the biggest poison that you can ever give yourself, you guys. And if you can learn anything from today's episode, it's that. Is don't compare yourself with anybody. Ever. There have been times where I go on social media and I see certain people that are doing the same thing that I'm doing. I give them mad props, because doing this is not easy. This show, it's funny because there's times that I can get on here and I can just talk and I'm like, it's flowing, it's jabbing, and I'm grooving. And then there's some episodes and I'm like, I don't know, not that I don't know what to talk about, but my mouth gets so like tongue tied, and I'm trying to perfect I'm trying to perfect this craft. I'm trying to get to my 10,000th hour. And so that's why I appreciate that you guys, no matter what, are always supportive of that. You guys have been so supportive of that, and you guys have been so open to, you know, watching the Ambition Hour. But I compare myself to these other people that are doing this, and I'm just like, wait a minute, like, they're going at a certain pace that it's just like, no, they're not you. Like, you got to remember that they are not you. They cannot do what you do. I have to tell myself that. So for anybody, I said earlier, artists, but anybody else out there, if you're a fucking doctor, can't nobody be a doctor like you. If you're a nurse, if you're a waitress, if you're a custodian, you're a mechanic, I don't care what you are. If you're good at something, nobody can do it better than you. You just gotta perfect it. You gotta get it to a point where it's just like, this shit easy. You know what I mean? And that only happens when you find what truly sparks a flame in your heart and in your soul. Because if you're out here living a life and you're not happy doing it, it's going to be easier for you to compare yourself to other people. Why? Because you're not doing what you're happy doing. If you're working at a job that you're not happy in, get the fuck out that job. Just get out of it. You know what I mean? And if one of your dreams is to always start your own business, listen, I've done that. I have been like, you know what? I'm going to quit my job and I'm going to become I'm going to become a full-time Herbalife distributor. And I'm going to start my own business, and I'm going to work from home. And I've done that. You know what I mean? And it wasn't for me, but at least I tried it. You know what I mean? And then that shaped me into the woman that I am today, that I can have the discipline to be able to do this show with no fear. Because I failed at something that was very important to me, that was big, that was going to shape the rest of my life. You know what I mean? And it's gone. It's gone. So the discipline that I have now when it comes to this show and when it comes to Worth the Wait comes from that, you know. And if I sit here and compare myself to other people that are doing the same thing as me, they're just not. You know what I mean? They're just not doing the same thing that I'm doing. So I just want to thank you guys again for watching. We're going to end it on that note. I just want to say thank you again for watching this episode 26. Make sure that you go ahead and watch all the videos that we have dropped, you guys. We have dropped so many videos. Like I said, we've dropped over 25 episodes of the Ambition Hour podcast. We have dropped over 25 music videos. We have full projects on YouTube. We have projects on SoundCloud, on Apple. Thank you so much for everybody that listens on Apple Podcasts. We just have the Ambition Hour podcast on there. And we also have the boys' albums on Apple. Guys, we have so much content out. It's so hard to even keep up. But just know that wherever you listen to your stuff, we're on. Okay? Whether it be Amazon, whether it be, I don't care, Amazon, Apple, Tidal, Spotify, SoundCloud, we everywhere, okay? And I want to thank you for being a part of that, because without you guys, we wouldn't be here. Like I say each and every single episode, I want to thank you guys. I want to thank my parents, and I want to thank God, because without him, I wouldn't be here today. So that being said, this is your girl Addie 3000. This is the Ambition Hour podcast, and I'm out.